Hello. This is a teaser for a video I'm going to make maybe later today or tomorrow and post, which will describe, I hope easily, how you can get pens from me. It'll be a step-by-step thing. And hopefully by the time I do the real video, I'll have the steps figured out. Maybe I'll take notes. I may also give you some ideas as to how you can get a pen from me, buy a pen from me if you want to buy a pen from me. And it's not as easy as clicking and adding to a shopping cart. I don't have enough wherewithal to actually put up a list and type a description and come up with a price and let everyone see it at the same time, because it's just too much work at my end, and I'd rather spend twice as long getting to know what kind of pen you want. A person who wanted a very specific nib from a recent what is this again? YouTube. A recent YouTube video. When I talked with that calligrapher, and when I saw the calligraphy and how the pens were held and things like that, I felt that the nib would not work in the way that I felt it could best work. The hand was a little heavier hand and a little bit more slowly and deliberately made. So, and I tried to imitate that calligrapher's handwriting, and the result was very, very different than when I would do my own work with that pen. The springiness was very hard to control, so I'm finding a different pen for that person. So even though that took an hour of conversation, it was a fun conversation, and I learned things about this person that you don't learn when you're adding to shopping cart. By talking to you, the customer, face-to-face via Skype or Facebook or something like that, it allows me to better get the pen you want, and more importantly, the nib you want. So I think I'm going to try to come up with a little plan on how you might want to buy the pens that I have for sale. What I might do, because so many of the pens that I have for sale, or that I show on YouTube, are pens that are in my collection, and it's very hard for me to sell a pen that's once been, as Rob Morrison called it, absorbed into my collection, because by the time that happens, it's too late. It's like a black hole. Nothing can escape. And I'm my best customer. So even when I'm trying to find pens for customers, calligraphers and artists, I start writing with them, and then into the black hole they go. So I need to be better at keeping the pens that are for sale in a box, and maybe only using those to describe things that I like about pens, because I have enough of them that I don't have to. No, that would be boring. I think it's important to see the pens that I really like, because some of them are very surprising to me even. Why do you want that piece of shit, Pure Gustafson? I understand now. It might not even have a nice nib, but there's something about the whole ensemble that I like and no one else would. But I'm thinking by showing you the pens that I really like, for whatever reason, you might learn to understand aspects of pen use and pen collecting that you don't get by just looking at perfect examples of pens, or only the big ones, only the silver overlays, and the plain black hard rubber ones are beneath other pen collectors. What are they beneath? Their taste buds. They're too common for them. Anyway, I also have had some people very interested in the things that I do with pens. Calligraphy I do. That's not really calligraphy, it's handwriting. Handwriting I do. Art that I create. Collages I make. So I'm going to also figure out a way to link that so people can find it. One of the things that has been very good about having my name is I don't think there's another Pierre Gustafson in the entire world. So if you type Pierre Gustafson on the interweb, chances are you're going to find me. Now you might find someone named Gustafson in Norway that's on the end of a pier fishing, or whatever they do in Norway. But chances are it's going to be me. And you can see the artwork I do. You can see my website, which is nearly 20 years old without a update. So I think you can still find it on your devices. You don't need to put a nickel in the Nickelodeon to see my website. Almost, though. And I have a Flickr page. I have other things, Instagram pages. I've got all sorts of art in all sorts of places. And some of the art I do is not suitable for work. And I have a following for that. And if you are interested in seeing that work, let me know. I'll tell you how to get to it. The easiest way to contact me where it stays in my memory bank is to email me, piergustafsonstudio@gmail.com. That way it appears on all of my devices. I know that email is antique. It's almost like a Nickelodeon for some of you people, but it is a way where it's on my computer, where I have my archive of all of the artwork I do. It's on my phone, it's on my iPads, so I can actually find it when I need to. It doesn't go away. It doesn't, when I tried to find something I put on my Facebook page, I don't know how to do it. I can search other people's Facebook pages, but I can't seem to search my own. So email I can almost always find. And I'm just thinking I do have an email that's just for pens, goodservicepen@gmail.com, but I don't even know if I remember the password for that. So, but maybe that's the one I'll put up. I'm also curious. I don't know if I have to be a superstar on Facebook to, or YouTube to, or whatever, to do a live broadcast where people can ask questions. I know some people do that, and I may try to figure out how to do that, because it might be fun to have you folks join me and you can ask questions. But more important than that is that you get to know each other. I do have a number of followers that I would really enjoy to have at a dinner party. Not because I like to eat and I want to meet you, but because I want to introduce you, Ms. Scarlett. This is Colonel Mustard. Colonel Mustard, this is Miss Green. I can't remember the names of those people. But, and Miss Green, the first course is a rope, candlestick, whatever they were. But I know that a lot of you people would enjoy talking to each other and getting to know each other, and maybe that's something I can do maybe once a week. Thursdays with Peer, dinner party with Peer, BYO whatever. And of course, some of you live on the other side of the planet, so it might be you might be having breakfast while other people are having dinner. But I think it might be fun, and because I know some of you guys would really, really like each other. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to expand my world that's rather claustrophobic here, especially in these COVIDian times when 3 meals a day are held in this house, whereas before 1 meal a day. I used to just have breakfast and I'd go out to eat for lunch and dinner to get me out of the house and to meet people and to have fun. But and I used to have money back then, so I could do it. But now everything is tight and disease-ridden and closed, so that's not a possibility. Maybe it will be after we're vaccinated. Yeah, most of us will get vaccinated. Some of the anti-vaxxers won't. And they'll just selfishly continue to kill people, I guess, or whatever they do. So let me put my thinking cap on. Do I have one here to put on? Let me put my thinking no. Here, pretend I'm putting my fez on. This is too small for even my pinhead. Let me put my thinking cap on and see if I can come up with a plan for how best to get pens that I own into your hot little hands, and to figure out a way for us to share a little bit more than we are doing at the moment. It's kind of a one-way street. I blah, 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 and you listen. And occasionally type. But I've talked with a couple of people that wanted to buy pens, and if I were modern, they would have clicked to shopping cart and they would have gotten a pen or pens immediately or at some point. If I were modern, it would be immediately. If I'm Per Gustafson, it would be maybe sometime before forever is over. But in talking to some of these would-be customers, I've learned so much about how I can appreciate a pen, because they have told me something, not a factoid, not about, that Schaefer flat top was made in this month of that year, and they only made 5 million of them. That's something I don't really need to know, but they tell me something else. And I had a nice chat with a Austrian man who lives in Brussels, and he said he was hooked, as it were, on my story about the Schaefer pen with the chipped cap and the fact that the palm tree fell on what I'm imagining. The palm tree fell on the soldier that was carrying this pen and chipped the cap lip. And he said it was the chipped cap lip in the story that I made up that sold the pen to him, as it were. I said, I've got a cap that isn't chipped, and he, already sort of glommed onto or accepted or embraced, that's the word I want, embraced the story that I came up with, that I just made up on the fly about this pen, and he thought that was a charming story, and that added value to the pen, the fact that it had chips from this imaginary palm tree crashing on top of them. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you should sell him the Brooklyn Bridge. No, that's not what he's about. He's not gullible. That's not what he's about. He's about all the brain cells that get inspired to spark when you're looking at a pen. A pen collector that only looks at the facts, there's only so many sparks that are ignited. And a pen collector that uses the pens they collect, there are more sparks that are ignited and bouncing around your head. But when you can hold the pen in your hand and wonder about the original owner, and that's sort of a lot of fun. And I don't necessarily do that, but the fact that this one pen collector does is really, really cool. And my friend Ted, when he tries a pen, he personifies it immediately, and he imagines if the pen were a sentient being and had a heart and a brain, what kind of being would it be? And he personifies it. He makes it into humanoids. And this is a dancer, and this is a drunkard, and this is a brute, and this is a very frail old lady. And by his imagination, he's able to connect with that pen a lot more than using it just as a tool, which he does for calligraphy. So these are the people that I want at my dinner party. And I'm just going to shut up and listen to them, because everything that comes out of their mouth is really, really fun. I recorded the Skype conversation that I had with the guy from Austria, and I looked back to listen to what he was saying, and it was me that was doing most of the talking, but that was during the recording, and I was showing him the pens that I was thinking of sending him. So I was, at that point of our Skype conversation, I was the talker. But once I turned the camera off to see if the sound was working and stuff, I listened to him and his descriptions of these things, and it was really fascinating. So I'm trying to figure out a way to introduce him to my friend Ted, via some sort of Skype thing, because I think that might be fun. So I'll put my thinking cap on and try to figure out how to do it. If you have any ideas that you might want me to include, or whatever, why don't you write them down now, and I can maybe try to add that to my thinking cap stuff. Bye.